Hello, welcome to another episode of Brianna's Bachelor Breakdown. I'm Brianna, your Bachelor relationship analyst. If you love getting into the nitty gritty of the drama, then this channel is for you. Be sure to subscribe and leave me a comment. Today, we're going to cover episode 6 of Michelle's season. We're going to talk about the 2 one-on-ones, the group date, and our thoughts on the final 4 and more. So as you can see, I have a special guest with me today. This is my friend Dara. We went to college together, and we're also line sisters, which means we joined the same sorority at the same time, Delta Sigma Theta. So Dara, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Dara. I hail from Queens, New York, currently in law school, and I'm here with Brianna on this journey to talk about The Bachelorette, The Bachelor. She loves the franchise. I just started watching TV maybe a year ago, and so I've really, for myself in like the Bachelor franchise, I watched Michelle's episode. Well, Michelle on The Bachelor, and so like seeing her on The Bachelorette, I was like, I'm really invested into her as a woman, into her as someone who finds love, and her as a Black woman. And so for me, like I didn't even watch Katie's season because like who's Katie?
Yeah.
But for me, Michelle is a person that I'm truly invested in. So I'm happy to be here talking to everyone about Michelle, her choices, and what her love life looks like forward.
Yeah, I feel that. Well, welcome. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So the episode opens up with students, she's a teacher, her students pull up, and they're given a chance to interact with the guys without Michelle, and kind of suss them out for her. So what were your thoughts on the hangout that we had with the kids?
I thought it was cute. I think that kids are honest. I think it was very interesting to see that like the kids didn't like Martin.
Yeah.
And I was like, they sniffed out the snake already.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he was still here, I was just like, yikes.
Yeah, that was a question mark.
Very much so questionable. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like we didn't get to see as much time as they had with like a lot of characters or a lot of them. Like we saw like them asking Rodney questions. We saw like the fort. We we briefly saw like a kid on Olu's back doing push-ups, but like we didn't really see like huge connection moments, which I feel like I wished. And I'm interested to know, like, I mean, definitely some of those questions the kids thought up themselves, but like if there was a moment for like production or Michelle to plant questions.
Oh, absolutely.
I feel like there could have been a little bit harder questions asked, and maybe like those were the ones that didn't make the cut because the answers were a little bit too raw or like not in line with the storytelling of the show. But
yeah,
I feel like I feel like there definitely was questions that probably were slipped in, and we didn't get to see as many of those as
Yeah, I feel that. I did notice that we didn't see like them interacting with Brandon or Nayte, who are too big, or Joe, who are like 3 of the biggest, like, obviously players in this. And I feel like that's because they already kind of were guaranteed for hometown. So it's like we don't really need to confirm them, I guess. But I still would have, like you said, would have liked to know how they would relate to Michelle's kids, because that's an important part of her life.
Yeah, I think especially like Nayte, for instance, because like he definitely gives like this Rico Suave, and like I feel
I've never made that connection.
I mean, he's just like, his aesthetic is like very true to himself in the best of ways, and I think that like he is like very suave, but I also would like to see like what that looks like or translates into like kid world. And you like, especially you like being like having worked around kids, and like for me having like a mom and sister that are teachers, like I like kids, but I like my own kids, and I would hate for someone to like I would hate for someone to look at me with kids and be like, she's not a good nurturer. I'm a good nurturer. But like at the same time, like she needs to suss these people out.
Right. So. Yeah. Especially especially Nayte,
If
because
they put on a fake face and actually act like they like these kids, then they're not gonna like their own kids.
Especially Nayte, because he has always talked about how he's a big kid, so he should be able to like fit right in and kind of play with them or whatever. But yeah, we didn't get to see that. My thought was, I felt like, are you aware that Clayton is going to be the next Bachelor?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So I felt like this was obviously the beginning. What'd you say?
This was his setup episode.
It was his setup.
His storyline, his everything.
Barely, just scraps being pulled together. I knew this was the beginning of his edit, because the thing with the fort, at first I was like, this feels like genuine. Like, he could have really thought to build a fort. Like, okay, that's fine. But like after that, it just kind of, I was bored already after that.
Yeah, I think that like Clayton is an interesting character. You know that he has a good heart. You know that like he was there for Michelle for the right reasons, but he did take a long time to open up.
Yeah.
And you don't have that many weeks. You don't have that much time. And so he was lucky that the kids chose him.
Yeah.
Because like Olu, the kids didn't choose him.
Right.
And he didn't get a date. So
yeah. Although I don't think that would have changed anything for Olu necessarily, because it's kind of like too little too late.
I guess it's too little too late. But I feel like sometimes when you see the edits on the clips at the end, you see like they had more interactions than what were shown on camera.
That's true. Yeah. I think she did have a good connection with Olu. I just think like the other ones are further along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. Like, I don't know how, like, yeah. I feel like, whatever. I feel like I don't want to skip to the end, or to the middle, but like at the same time, I feel like her decision would have been harder if Martin was replaced with someone else.
Yeah.
like we just wasted a spot with Martin. Like we really did.
Yeah, Martin was easy to eliminate, and he was one of the people that had a one-on-one, so she kind of like got to know him more than like if Olu had Martin's one-on-one, that would have been more difficult for her, I think.
Yeah,
that's sure. A good point. Yeah. Okay, so moving along from that, Clayton, like we said, obviously ends up getting the one-on-one. They go to a museum after hours. It looked like Natural History Museum. They're running around playing tag, looking at the exhibits, and then there's like paper butterflies with would you rather questions.
Impressed. That's not a cute date.
It was cute. It was just like very like, here we are at the next step. Like it was just very like, it seemed spontaneous, but it was so like, okay, the producers are walking us through what they want them to do. So what were your thoughts on just like the activity portion before they got to like the dinner?
I thought that the hide and go seek thing was weird. I mean, I love Night at the Museum, but after Night at the Museum,
it's real.
Yeah, it's real creepy. And then like one of the cuts, they showed a live turtle, and I was like, so they're real animals. And
yeah, I picked up on that. I was like, oh, I thought these were all like statues.
I stopped.
I was like, so no one's watching these live animals overnight? Like they're just here?
Yeah, I was like, wait, there are real animals. And then I got really scared.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing. I was like, okay, so we're playing tag in this museum. I guess it's kind of cute, but like, whatever. And then the bird exhibit was interesting. Like, I thought it was like Dance Dance Revolution. So I was like, okay, we have some arcade theme exhibit activities.
Yeah.
The mating dance. Like, did the kids make this up? Because I don't think the kids put this on the agenda. I don't think the kids, like the kids were asking questions about did you kiss, not mate. I'm pretty sure they didn't have the birds and bees talk yet. But yeah, I was like, the mating dance, come on. And he was like, oh, he can dance. And I was like,
I was like, I'll be sure.
So I actually thought the butterfly activity was cute. I thought it allowed them to get closer. I feel like out of a lot of the men there, in terms of like touching her, I felt like he was very respectful in the way in which he touched her. I
Yeah.
feel like he never like went for the kisses in the dates and stuff. Like he was always just like shy, and not shy in a bad way, just like I thought his presence and everything was like more respectful. Not the same that the other men weren't,
I know what
but
you're
like
saying. Yeah.
it was more like a courting type of feel, but you can't really like court her around like 10 other women. So I mean
Right.
so it felt as though he was courting her, but in this time when they were catching the butterflies, I was just like, wow, they're getting a little bit more intimate in a way in which I hadn't seen before. And
Yeah. Yeah.
like shoulders and like he was like picking her up. I was like, okay, she feels safe. Like
Yeah.
I felt like safety was a huge thing for her, and like the ability for her to like just like allow him to like have her body hoisted in the air was
Wasted.
uh,
Yeah.
made her feel safer than she thought and closer to him. But I didn't think they had in-depth conversation throughout the date. I felt like the date was very activity orientated, and I feel like there were missed opportunities for like more incorporation of conversation. And
Hmm.
I thought the butterfly questions were also very basic.
Yeah.
Like that could have been a moment for them to ask like hard-hitting questions that she didn't have
Right.
to ask, but like they didn't. So I was just like, interesting. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I did pick up on that, what you're saying about like the physical touch that they were having. I did very much so pick up on that because I was like you were saying, whenever they had their like one-on-one chit chats during the group dates, like leading up to this, they never really had the like physical element. So I didn't know what to expect going into their one-on-one, how like close they would be. But I was glad to see that apparently they had gotten somewhere to where she does feel like comfortable around him. Um, and then the butterfly questions, I also was unmoved. I felt like it was a little forced. Like some of the questions were like, oh yeah, what's your favorite holiday? Like whatever. But then one of them, she was like,
what's your favorite holiday thing? I was just like, my favorite holiday is Thanksgiving as well. But he was like, because I like to eat. I'm like, bro, this is your opportunity to expand.
he said food.
I said, you're not going to bring up a tradition. You're not going to bring up your family. You're not going to bring up like, grab onto something and make it last. Like, food. Be a football player. Why don't you?
Yeah, but I felt like in other moments he did like, yeah, he didn't go that deep in, but then I felt like in other moments he did, but it was like weird. Like the question where they asked like what's your superpower or whatever, and he was like, oh, I could fly, and she was like, oh, I would want to be like healing or whatever, and he was like, that is so deep. I admire you so much. Like he spoke for like 30 seconds and he honestly felt like a fan. Like he felt like he was someone who was like meeting her off the street, like who saw her on The Bachelorette instead of being someone who was like her equal in the scenario and like has been getting to know her for like all these weeks.
But I think that's what she saw in him as well.
A
I don't,
fan.
not a fan, but someone who wasn't like truly comfortable in themselves.
Mm.
And like, even in his responses, like he was like, I would fly. Like fly for what? Like fly to do what? Like she was,
Yeah.
she like in all of her responses, she was just like, I would heal because like I want to help people. You
Right.
know?
Like had a reason.
Yeah, a reason. Like he's like, I want to fly, but like you could say like I let him fly because like I like to travel and I don't want to pay for like airplane tickets
Yeah, yeah.
for the world. And that would have been a lot more deeper and
Right.
more depth than like I just want to be solo in the air.
It
Like
was very surface level. And I felt like he picked up on that. Once she gave her responses, he was like, oh, this is the level of depth.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what do you think a one-on-one is for?
Right. Yeah. So they have all these interactions and then they go to the dinner portion. Clayton opens up about how he struggled in the past with like determining what he wants out of life. He thought he would chase his career and like kind of put that over his life and like didn't really make time to date. But he says now he's all good. He's the most vulnerable he's ever been and he knows what he wants out of life. Thoughts on the dinner portion?
Okay, so I feel like this is like the first dinner in this episode where, or this, I said episode, this season, whatever, where I didn't feel like they didn't really touch their food much. So I was like,
They never eat. Sometimes they'll do a toast, but they never eat.
Really? I don't know.
Yeah.
I was like I was very aware of the fact that like no one touched their food at this point. I was like, oh, so this is awkward. Or maybe like share a slice of cake or something. Like I feel like I knew this was going downhill.
Yeah.
And like when he started sharing his responses about like not feeling like he was enough and like being like 80% of the way there to like him opening himself up, and then he was just like, you were in my shoes, like were you always this confident? And she was like, yeah. Just like, were you always this confident? Yes. Like, I'm a Black woman living in a white world. Wake up.
She said, I knew what I wanted and I came to get it. The end.
And I think that also was like a flag for her, even though like she wouldn't say it, that like he's all the way to the stage and he is not sure if he's confident in this.
Yeah.
Like, he knows that he wants to be with someone, but does he want to be with her? Like, he's just now having this realization that like he's open to love, he's open to like bringing someone into his life, he's at this point where he's okay with his career, but like, is it her that he wants, or he just wants a relationship that's guaranteed and successful? And I feel like that's where he is, and like him being the next Bachelor will allow him to explore that a little bit more. But I'm also so hesitant with this like franchise for picking men who aren't ready to be married. Like, let's talk about it. Picking men who aren't ready to be in relationships. You should not be a Bachelor if you're just like, I'm finally figuring out what love is. No, you should have been through.
That's called dating. That's like, you're ready to date. This ends in an engagement.
Put a ring on someone's finger. Like, don't be playing with people's hearts and minds and emotions, and you haven't said I love you yet to someone.
That you have men that come on the show, just even contestants who are like, I've never been in love. I've never had a serious relationship. What? Yeah, you're in your mid-20s. What's like going on?
That should be a question in the application. I actually put the application up recently. I wanted to see what they were asking these people.
What did they ask? Did they ask anything about past relationships?
Yeah, well, I don't think they asked anything about past relationships, but there was like a portion that was just like, you can't be in a current serious relationship. Like, you can't be living with someone.
That's like, not enough. That's not enough.
You can't be like, you couldn't have been seriously dating someone like 2 months prior to the show or something. Like, it was like, they're making sure that you're not attached to someone.
Right,
but it wasn't just like, have you been in love? They asked for your IG and your TikTok, but like, I'm like, they updated this shit to say Sorry. They updated this to say TikTok, but then I gotta ask about love and stuff. Like, I don't know. They're not doing this right, because the fact of the matter is, he's a nice guy. Is he ready to be Bachelor? We'll see. No. But like, I'm not sure and I'm not certain. He's ready to find love. He's ready to be loved.
Yeah.
But I think that when you're searching for love, when you're searching for love and you haven't found it yet, or you haven't seen it in a long time, you get all caught up in the emotions, and like, you're not thinking clearly about like, is this someone I want? Or like, am I just chasing after them for the emotion? Or am I just chasing because like, I want them to fill a void in my life? And I feel like he has a void that he's trying to fill with someone, and a good person. So he's seeking out a good person, but that good person might not be his match.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how his season plays out, and just like who he will be with at the end. But I'm glad Michelle didn't pick him, because she's looking for something serious.
Yeah.
He's not ready to be serious.
Right.
She's looking for someone to propose to her. Like, he's not ready to propose. Like, he would propose because he knows that's what he should be doing.
Well, he might not.
Or he may not.
We've had Matt James did not propose. We've had another Bachelor who did not propose.
Matt James was also a person who had never said I love you. So like, why would he be a Bachelor? Like,
exactly. So it's just, we're in the same pattern of guys who are just not prepared. And I feel like, going off of what you said about like not knowing what to look for, like if you haven't been in love, like not knowing what to look for, I feel like that's such a huge like hindrance in this process, because it's so expedited. So if you haven't like been in love before, you don't know really what characteristics you need out of a partner. And it's going to be harder for you to identify those. It's hard to identify those just in dating, like in the real world when there's no stakes at all. But it's even harder when you're like in an expedited process. You have to make a decision in 10 weeks with all these cameras in your face, you know? So I feel like he doesn't have that experience to prepare him to like make that decision. And that's like, that's not interesting. Like, I'm so tired of watching these seasons where like they don't pick the person that's like who I would think is their best match, but they pick the person who like they have the most sexual chemistry with or who's the most attractive or whatever. And then they break up 6 months later. Like, that's not interesting.
Yeah. And then at the same time, I think that I forgot what I was going to say. At the same time, like Michelle is so ready for this. Like she is so ready. So I was annoyed by Matt's season. I watched it annoyed. Like
same, yeah.
But like when she came into those one-on-ones and she talks about her past relationship and how like that literally like ate her alive, like physically, like depreciated her, like she had to move back in with her family, like how that relationship was toxic and like she had to go to the doctor for it. That's deep.
Yeah.
And Clayton hadn't experienced any of that.
Right.
A lot of guys haven't experienced it. So like when she's opening up about this relationship, it's like, I've gone through hell. I've gone through a dark time. And he was like, yeah, I went through a dark time. And it's like, no. She expressed what her dark time was a couple episodes ago. Right. I need you to express your dark time because I'm not trying to compare darkness and emotions, but sis was sick.
Right.
Like
even his opening up was like not like I felt like they just spoke in like cliches. He was like, oh yeah, I'm on this self-love journey. Like, what does that look like for you? What does that mean? What insecurities are you working through? Like, it just felt like a bunch of like fluff. And he's like, I wanted an MBA. Like, he just said all these things when there was no conclusion. Like, he started a bunch of like, I wanted this out of my career. I wanted that out of a relationship. And then he was just like, now I'm ready. Like, there was no conclusion. We didn't learn what he worked through and what the final product is.
No, I was not impressed. He didn't have any depth, and like it annoyed me because like she had given so much of herself and like opened that up that I'm just like, you could have said anything. You could have said like, you know, she's a teacher, you know, she's dealt with childhood trauma, you know, like she's a Black woman and you're a white man. Like you have a lot of topics to broach if you want to be her husband.
Right.
Like, so figure it out, pick a topic and decide, because like you need to make an impression that she feels like she could carry you to hometown.
Yeah. And that's going to be even more boring on his season because the lead honestly can just coast. Like, it's up to the contestants really to open up. So like, we don't know anything about him leaving this season now. And I doubt we'll learn much about him on his own season. And that's so boring.
It's upsetting. And like, he's a good face. He's an attractive man. Like, he's what the people want. They had a little bit too much Blackness.
Yeah. They said, you're done.
You're done. Wait, but like, can we talk about how the kids, like, go back to the kids and how the kids said that Olu made them feel like warm, hot chocolate in their heart?
I was like, how did you not pick him for the dates? Like,
oh, wait. I said, wait, we need to go back and touch on that real quick because I said, wow, these kids, they're so cute.
And so perceptive. Like, Olu is so, that's who I really want as Bachelor. Speeding forward, this is a point I had at the end, but since we're on the topic of Olu now, that's who I really want as Bachelor over Clayton.
They couldn't do two Black men.
Oh, they would never.
The people are already talking about Michelle, like, because now they had Katie and Michelle. But it's like, Michelle didn't want to film during the school year for her kids, so like they had to pick a fill-in, and that was Katie.
Yeah.
So yeah, but they couldn't do Olu again.
Oh, never. That will never happen.
It wouldn't.
Yeah.
But he is a kind soul. He really is trustworthy, and so like and he was perceptive.
Yeah, he really was. which we will get into. But before that, we have one last final scene of Mr. Clayton. So the next day, this has never happened. What'd you say?
With the kids.
Yeah, with the kids. We never see a follow-up. Like, they usually just leave and we don't see them again. But they got to push this Bachelor edit. So the next day, Clayton's saying goodbye to two of the kids. They give him letters that they wrote about how he would make a good dad. They hope he finds love. And then also just like piecing in the last blooper from like the very end of the episode when the one kid was like, I want him to find love. I think he'll be the next Bachelor. So thoughts. Oh, and also like after he reads these letters, he's in the hallway trying to push some tears out of his tear ducts.
So I'm not gonna lie, I pushed some tears out of my tear ducts.
No.
The kids got me.
No.
Got me. Nah, they did. Because like I try to view it from his perspective, like he's leaving the show. He's someone who was a football player. He's someone who's like achieving is something that he does. So like this is a failure for him.
Yeah.
Like he got his MBA. He was a football player, so that means he won games. Like he's made it to be like successful or like what he deems a success, so much so that he had his head down. And so I'm like thinking like, okay, like this, him like not being the Bachelor, like not being the Bachelorette's choice is like him failing. And him feeling like he took the steps to open up. And I was like, this is a moment for him. And like, this is reflection. And it's probably reflection that like, he hasn't done in a while. So recently after something has happened. Yeah. I feel like he's probably one of those men that lets things fester and then thinks about it like later down the road. But like the kids are just like, you got broken up with yesterday. Back at it, like, we got to say goodbye. And here are our letters. And like, yeah, we're sorry that you got broken up with. Like hit him again, like, don't be sad. Don't be sad. Don't be sad. It's like my man is sad. But like, so I thought that was cute. I thought it was genuine. And so those are the reasons why like I feel like I teared up. But like also it was meant for him to go home because like when he said afterwards, like, I really want a family, I'm like, did you not know that before this letter? Like he was like, I really want to be a dad. Like, did you not think about that before this letter? Does these kids make you want to be a dad? Because these kids weren't babies. And I'm not saying you have genuine connections with them, but like you also didn't see these kids pop out of a womb and have some like amazing experience. Like, I'm not saying the kids weren't amazing, but like I'm just saying that like he acted like he saw like some coming of age story of these kids, or like
maybe he did, I don't know.
He was like, these kids make me want to be a dad. And I'm like, so this was one day and probably for a couple of hours. And like they probably had to refilm some of these shoots.
And that's exactly why I personally was unmoved. We had the most opposite reactions possible watching this. Like I was sitting there stone faced. Like I was like, okay. I was like, here we go. Like just the letters. Okay, to start with the letters, I cannot imagine at that age being that pressed about a grown man's love life to the point where I would be moved to write him a letter about, I hope you find a wife. You'd be like, I wouldn't do that at any age where I would be so moved about someone I met once to be like,
these kids opted in to be on this show. And their parents also opted them in to be on this show.
That's true. That's true.
Consent. So there's no doubt in my mind that the parents also helped them write this letter too. Like,
oh, absolutely. Which is why, again, I was unmoved because I was like, this is so, an
Pixar film. So like for me, like I'm moved just by like sheer like, oh my God, Woody like got left. Crying. Toy Story.
I guess I'm just heartless. I did not buy it whatsoever. When he was crying, I didn't buy it. I was literally trying to zoom in, like, are there any tears on his face? Like, it didn't do it for me.
He was really crying. I'm not saying that we shouldn't give him emotion. Like, I was there with him. I was empathizing.
I'm glad someone was. I'm glad he had someone on his side.
I was empathizing, but also definitely a setup for The Bachelor.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The kid saying, "I hope he's the next Bachelor." I'm like,
Eye roll.
did you see that much? Like, were we watching the same episode? Like, I thought it was cute that they wrote a letter. Like, they made a friend in a day. Like, I thought that was realistic that they made a letter. Kids like make friends in one day in the schoolyard, and they write a letter. Like, oh my god, like I thought we were gonna see you again, but I guess not. Like, I feel like that was normal.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like he's not, and they're like, "Oh, I wish you had kids," and I'm like, that was a stretch. But like,
Exactly.
you're gonna be a great dad. Like, when I was watching in the moment, I was like, wow, this is precious. Like, this is really precious. This is what he needed. And I'm glad the kids gave him what he needed, because I feel like when Michelle kept saying to him, "You're enough, you're enough, you're enough," like, I don't think that he was able to internalize that in the same way in which hearing it from the
Yeah.
kids.
Because also it's coming from someone who is breaking up with him. If someone broke up with me and they said, "Oh, by the way, you're still enough," it's like, well, clearly you don't think so, or else you wouldn't be breaking up with me. So,
I mean, but also, like, it's perspective. It also takes a specific type of person to be on this type of show. Like, would I get onto a show and be vying for a man's love amongst other women? No. Like, no.
yeah.
I'm not at that stage in my life. Hit me in like maybe 4 years, like not 4 years. Let's give 6 years. hit me in 6 years, and I might need you to do the application for me.
Hopefully they have more thorough questions by then.
Yeah, but I just think that I don't know. Like, I think that you need to be realistic. So like, someone's gonna go home. You're gonna hope it's you. You're gonna hope it's not you, but like, you also see her relationships developing with other people. Do you think you have the strongest connections? And if not, you need to come out guns blazing every group date until you get a one-on-one,
right,
for her to keep you.
Yeah.
Like,
even if you do all that, it can still, you can still go home.
No, you could still go home, and going home is the reality.
Yeah. So, I just know for me, I would take it way too personally. Like, I would just be way too salty, even though I know that that's like what happens, what I signed up for. I would still be like deep in my feelings about it.
Yeah, but like I'd be salty, but I would be like, she didn't choose me, and like at the end of the day, you want to be chosen.
Exactly.
You want to be chosen, but like, you want the person who loves you to choose you in a way in which, like, in a room full of everyone else, they choose you, and she didn't choose you. So like, it's sad, it's upsetting, but like, it saves you the heartbreak down the line. Like,
yeah. And I would get to that point eventually, but that wouldn't be my thought off top. I would just be like really salty.
That would be my thought process every rose ceremony. To make it through. Literally be my thoughts every week. She chose me. Like, she chose me. Like, with people's names to call last, I'm like, you need to think about it. She choosing you next week. Like, like, come on. But like, yeah, I just think that she got to choose you, and if she doesn't, like, it gives you clarity. It also, like, first step into figuring it out. Like, also, these people are like falling in love in the fastest way I've ever seen people fall in love. But, like, it's cute. It's cute. but we're also on a show. You're getting filmed.
Yeah.
But I guess they have to, like, I hope they're just not saying these things to say them, but like,
no, I think they really feel, because I mean, if you think about it, they're in an environment where they're only surrounded by people who are dating that same person. They have no outside influence. They don't have TV, music. They can't leave the house. They don't have like books. Like, all they have to do is sit around and think about this person and talk to other people who are dating this person, So I think it's like a very odd situation, but I think they really feel these feelings because of the environment.
Yeah. I guess that's how Martin convinced himself to stay there so long.
Yes. Okay, so moving on, we had a group date where we go to a farm, we milk cows, we feed the calves, turn the butter, I haven't seen you say about this. Did you have any thoughts on the date?
Well, I think Joe cheated because, like, how did, how did he reveal to her at the end that he used to do this every time he went to his grandma's house? Like, my guy, you were gonna say that before. She was like, "Oh, he's the calf whisperer." Nah, he's just the calves just know he's around other cats. I mean, interesting group date. Definitely
It
would
was
have.
fun. It was different.
It was fun. Would have put me out of my element for sure.
Yeah.
Um, I've never milked a cow in my life. Yeah, Rodney was so funny on this group date. He was literally like when he had his little like side interview and he was like, "Yeah, I'm kind of an almond milk, soy milk type person."
That was really funny.
I was just like, this is very funny and
Yeah.
very like on brand for where the world is right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, you're actually really funny.
Yeah.
I could see like when she's one-on-one with him, like he's definitely a hilarious character.
Yeah.
Like would make you laugh because I as a viewer was just like, fair point. Like
Yeah.
And then when he was talking to the cow and milking,
That was cute. I like that he got into it.
I like that he got into it, and I also like that like he was talking to the cow in a way in which like I feel like he would like coach someone through giving birth.
Yeah.
He was like, "Look at me, we're gonna make this together," and I was just like, it was just like for me, it took me to a moment where I was like, oh, I could see him like coaching like his wife through like birthing their first child.
And I think that's what he was trying to do, which I thought was very smart and like a good way to kind of stand out in that group date setting.
Yeah. So I thought he stood out. Nayte hurting his back, like I feel for him because like when I shovel snow here in New York, like my dad always told me to don't lift with your knees. Like and so like he definitely could have hurt his back for real if he was lifting the wrong way. And he's so lanky anyways that like he actually needs to be in a squat like slate formation if he was gonna lift the dung from the cow. So like I don't think he was lying about hurting his back.
Yeah.
I think we saw Martin not enthused by any of these activities.
Yeah.
Was another red flag all over. Who else was there? I feel like, I mean, Joe with the calf whisper, like her saying that calf are like similar to like babies.
Yeah.
And then you see that cut where like Nayte, the calf just runs away.
That was so funny.
That's also so shady on the
Very shady.
I was like, are we really doing this? Like, he like touches it and it runs. I was like, this is funny.
I mean, animals know who they want to hang out with.
And then we see Olu with the calves too.
Yeah, I don't feel like we saw that much of Olu this episode or this group date.
We didn't see much of Olu this group date. And what was the remaining last white boy's name? The last Rick, the last airbender. So like
we didn't see much of him this group date either. I really like Rick.
Yeah. Rick is interesting. I didn't think he was gonna make it, but
like, he really took me by surprise. Like, given where we started, Rick, he was really out here.
Yeah, he would definitely put it all on the line.
He did.
Yeah. He was trying to milk the cows. He has very strange eye contact and eyes for me that I can't.
I'm glad someone said it. I'm very glad.
It's not giving me killer, but it's giving me like
I'm trying to enter into your soul.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's giving intense clown. Maybe. He just gives very intense clown energy. I don't know, like his eyes, his eye contact.
Yeah.
Like, what does he do for a living again? Because
truthfully, I've never read his gold tagline. I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't tell if it's eyeliner or if his like under eyelashes are just that dark. You know what I mean? or if he's like putting on eyeliner because he's like, I'm on TV.
It's weird. His eyes bulge every episode. His face's expressions. He definitely wasn't the cutest out of them all. He gave his heart, he gave his soul, but I'm okay to not see him on screen anymore. Like, he's a nice guy. He was also on the older end.
Was he?
Yeah, he was.
How old was he?
I want to say 32. Don't fact check me. Well, we should fact check. But like, but how old is Michelle?
I don't know.
She's
gotta be like late 20s, like 27 to 30 range, I would guess.
Yeah, I think she's like 29. I don't know, 28, 20. Well, yeah, she definitely is between that 28 to 30 range.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely serious. But I thought the cow was a great activity. I thought it was hard in this activity that was planned for her to get that individual contact.
Yeah. I felt like Rodney was really trying though. He really stuck out to me as someone who was like really taking what she said a few episodes ago to heart in terms of like making those small moments with her in that like group setting. And so I really appreciated him for that. And I feel like Nayte was as well, but his was a little bit more like, I feel like he was like in everyone's face, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go talk to Michelle right now while you all are like doing all this extra stuff. But I feel like Rodney like involved her in the activity, which I think he probably enjoyed.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But good group date for me. Like,
yeah.
I think knocking everyone out of their element was like always good.
Yeah. Okay, so then we get into the after party. So there were two big conversations that happened here. The first being Nayte. He opens up about his dad, saying that he has a weird relationship with his dad around girls, because his dad pretty much told him to never talk to him about dating and to not bring anyone home. But Nayte says that this has always been pretty much a non-issue because he hasn't really wanted to bring anyone home prior to Michelle. And then that leads into him saying that he's falling for her, which is the first admission of that we hear this season. So what were your thoughts on this conversation?
I don't know how to feel about that. I'm really not sure how to feel about that. Like,
what is that? Are you talking about the falling for you comment?
Not the falling for you comment, the one about his father, like not saying he wants to bring anyone home.
That raised a lot of questions.
It raises a lot of questions for me, especially because like Michelle is so close to her family, like extremely close. And like that comment is a comment in which like he should have broken down years ago with his father. Like, and he should have like had that conversation years ago about like, hey, I have someone important I want to bring home, and him not having someone important to bring home before Michelle. I don't know if that, I feel like that raises little red flags for me. Like,
yeah.
And like knowing that hometowns are coming up and like she will have to meet him. Like, how are you going to prep your dad for this moment? And like, how are you going to prep her for this moment? Because like, it's terrible to feel like you're coming into a hostile environment. Like, and she would be coming into a hostile environment if his dad is like, I do not want to meet any of your significant others.
Yeah.
And maybe his dad said that because like he knew the type of man Nayte was and was just like, just don't bring 50 million girls here because you're maybe he's a lover boy.
Yeah.
And maybe we haven't seen that, and he like, if his dad didn't say that, he would bring everyone home.
Yeah.
So like, who knows like the reason behind that? But I feel like we should have gotten a little bit more context.
Yeah, he just kind of dropped that bomb and just moved on. And I was like,
I felt uneasy about it.
Yeah. Did you ever watch Rachel's season?
No, I didn't. I know who Rachel is, but
Okay. Well, she had in one of her Final Four, this made me think about Rachel's season, because in one of her Final Four, she had a guy who we don't know Nayte's connection with his family, like if it's good outside of this girl situation. But like in Rachel's Final Four, she had a guy, Dean, who like really wasn't like very comfortable with his family. Like they weren't really in connection before he went on The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. So he had to kind of gather his family together for the hometown date. And it made for a very uncomfortable and awkward visit. And so that just kind of reminded me of that, especially because it was like, you could tell that he was just he wouldn't do that at that point in time in a relationship off camera. And so I don't want Nayte to be in the same situation where he's just like kind of rushing this scenario. Cause like you said, this needs to be addressed prior to even him coming on to the show.
I mean, I saw that same thing with Matt and his father though. I just think that.
Yeah. And it's like, but the thing is like with this show, they don't really have the chance to prep. Like he literally will not be able to talk to his family before he brings Michelle home. Like him seeing his family with Michelle is going to be the first time he sees his family like in this process as well. Like it's going to be a surprise for both of them at the same time. So that's what worries me. Like neither of them really know what they're walking into.
Yeah. And then I feel like he could have said, I'm falling for you. You saying that this is the first time anyone said I'm falling for, or if he said I'm falling for you?
That's the first time I've heard any of the contestants say that, like to her.
Really?
Yeah. Who have you heard? Not to the cameras, but to her.
Oh. I feel like he said it before.
Oh.
So I feel like he said it during his I feel like he said it before during his one-on-one date with Michelle. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I remember Michelle saying in her like ITM to the cameras that she was falling for him. Mm-hmm. I don't remember him saying that.
Interesting.
Because it seemed like news. You know what I mean? When he said it this episode, it seemed like an announcement. If she'd already heard it, it'd be like, okay.
But like when he was in the one-on-one with her friends, did he not say that he was falling for her? Or maybe that was just something so natural that I placed there.
Yeah, he might have. But I still don't feel like that's the same as like, you know.
Doing, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone has to pull out the little gold star somewhere to make sure that they were in the final four.
So did you not believe it? Did you not buy it? You felt like he was just trying to advance?
I feel like, I love Nayte. I know that Michelle and Nayte are physically attracted to each other. Like, I know that Michelle is very attracted to Nayte. That's like not a brainer. And I know that she likes being around him. I feel like he hasn't given me much depth as I want.
I've been hearing this opinion a lot. I have been hearing that a lot.
I want more depth from Nayte.
Yeah.
For me, like, I thought it was an easy play for him to be like, I'm falling for you. Like, I felt like that was just like,
cool. Like, that's what you say at this stage. Yeah.
That's what you say at this stage. No. Someone definitely said I'm falling for you before this. Yo, Brianna, we gotta rewatch these episodes. This is not a fact. I'm standing on. But yeah, I don't get enough depth from Nayte, and I think that like Nayte knows that he has a connection, so he should literally just be building. Every time he gets with her, he should just be like building on that connection. He should be like making like greater effort for her to get to know him. And maybe we're not seeing that because like the cameras aren't showing that, and maybe like the producers are cutting edits and that's what they're doing. But like, I don't know. I feel like their last one-on-one, he could have talked about family, you know?
Yeah.
Like, why would he bring it up? Like, I guess he'd bring it up now because it's closer to hometowns, but like, I think that like he could have brought that up before. I mean, the last one-on-one, they talked about relationships and like,
yeah.
I'm not sure. Just do we know how many kids he wants?
No.
Like, I think that we have not gotten to like who Nayte is as a person.
Yeah, that's
also, like,
fair.
What does he do, like as a job? Like,
again, I don't know.
I feel like so much of the show obviously is focused on the Bachelorette, but like I also would like to build the men's stories in a way in which we understand why they're a good pairing for her. And
Yeah,
like we don't get that unless it's
yeah,
like forced on us like Clayton. Um, we don't get that story.
yeah, yeah. No, that's really real. That's so hard for me because I love Nayte a lot.
No, I love Nate too. I think they're cute. I love that he's super tall for her. Like, I just, and I know they're sexually attracted to each other. I know, like, and I see that there's definitely chemistry.
Yeah,
And maybe there are things off camera that we're not seeing
yeah, yeah,
for her to feel the ways that in which she feels about him.
yeah,
But I want a little bit more depth from Nate.
yeah. Well, maybe we'll get it.
And hometown.
Maybe
Yeah.
I'm holding out hope for Nayte. I think it's somewhere in there. I think he can do it. But I hear that. I've seen that opinion a lot. So
And the second scene of these group date is what we're
yes, the second big conversation. So
I'm ready for this.
so the stage is set. I feel like when Martin is talking to Olu and he's kind of rehashing his last conversation with Michelle, he's like, it didn't go as planned. And the reason he provides is because he says that she wasn't listening to him and that it was a miscommunication on her part. And then he proceeds to use her poem against her and say that she still has childhood trauma that is unresolved, she needs to work through, and therefore she is immature in her interactions with him. So obviously Olu takes this to Michelle, which I really liked, how he approached her about that. And then Michelle approaches Martin and he continues to blame, interrupt, and sidestep an apology. So let us know your thoughts about this whole scenario.
My thoughts, Martin should have been gone way before. Cause he's been with the guys that she's kicked off.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, and Olu pointed that out. Olu was just like, he's a snake. Like he like he's been with every guy who's been talking, like he's been the person who talks to them. So like, and also befriends them. So like he should have been kicked off a while ago. And like I'm upset at Michelle for not kicking him off before.
Yeah.
I'm upset at Michelle for like giving him a rose on their one-on-one. Because when they were in the hot tub and she was just like talking, like those same red flags that like Olu told her there were already present on that one-on-one.
Yeah.
Especially when he spoke up for the crazy guy.
Yeah.
Like, why are you using time on your one-on-one to talk about how I should have handled things better? And he said something similar when he was leaving after he kicked her off. He was like, I don't really care that I'm going home. I don't really care about like the scenario. I'm just upset about how she handled this. She can handle a situation how she wants to handle it. She's a grown woman, like she said, and she took it upon herself to kick you off the show. Like, if you're going to say that she's going to regret her decision, like you also aren't internalizing what just happened here.
Yeah.
And like, there's something to be said about someone being blunt and someone being honest and that being like their character flaw. Like, I believe that I'm blunt and honest, but like, no, I am. I believe that. But you're not blunt and honest. You're two-faced and you're manipulative and you're a gaslighting individual who like wants to be seen in the best light in any scenario, whether it's in front of the guys or in front of her.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand how he was kissing her with those same lips that he was bad mouthing her with. I was just like,
that was my thing. I was like, if you think this poorly of her, why are you still here? If you're over here talking about she doesn't get a chance with me, she doesn't deserve me, well then why are you here? You're also dating her just as much as she's dating you.
I was disgusted. And then there was a moment where he was just like, I don't know if it was during this one-on-one, but he was just like, I need to see, or maybe it was like one of those closet talks. I need to see if Michelle's right to bring home to my family. I'm like, sir, you know, for her.
Right.
He's talking to like the other guy. This is a two-way street. It's not a two-way street. She gets a final decision. If you don't want to be here, leave, pack up your bags, and go. But like, don't act like you have any control over the scenario. Like, he's giving toxic masculinity energy. Like
Oh,
when he was speaking
absolutely.
over her, when she was just like, "You're speaking over me," I was just like, "You better tell him." I was
Yeah,
like,
but
"You
it
better."
didn't click. It still did. He was like, "Oh, sorry if I maybe spoke over you." Like nothing was clicking for him.
I said, "Maybe." She said, "I didn't get any word out without you interrupting me."
Yeah,
Like, you interrupted her. Like, and then he was just like, "That's not what I said, sir." All of Americans who are watching this show,
that blew me. Like he literally,
you didn't say that? You didn't
like
say
what?
that. I hope the internet is dragging him as much as they tried to drag Nayte for saying that he had, like, that people said that he had this in the bag, because that's not even what he said.
Right.
Like, dragging him for this because he straight lied.
Right.
Like
Like
Nayte,
without missing a beat. Like he just was like, no, I didn't say that.
yeah. Meanwhile, Nayte was just like, he didn't even say that he had it in the bag. He literally just said, "My time is gonna come."
Right.
And you're out here literally saying that she has past childhood trauma that she hasn't dealt with, like she needs to see therapy. And I'm like, sir, what, you are insinuating a lot here about someone who you should be proposing to at the end of this.
Right. Who you're claiming to like. This is not behavior. This is not the way that you act when you like somebody.
Also, he's like, "You're insecure, childed, like immature." I'm like, so do you want her as your wife?
Right. I think Martin is used to dealing with women. What'd you say?
He also came on this show for fame. There is no way
Oh, absolutely.
you're talking out of the side of your mouth like this and think that like you were going to be like you were going to be her end, or
Yeah.
that you were the Bachelor at the end of this. Like, he definitely came on the show for clout, for fame, for some more followers, because like it's not giving I was invested in this.
Yeah. I think he's used to dealing with women who are insecure or have low self-esteem so that he can capitalize on that and like make the woman, like tear the woman down so much and like insult her so much to where he can build her back up in the way he wants. I think that's what he's used to dealing with and what he tried to do with Michelle, but it clearly was not going to work.
But also, like, I feel I don't even know what type of women he deals with, because then he had that one-on-one date or that their conversation
About the Miami girls?
about the Miami girls being gold diggers. And I was just like, are we taking this time to do this right now? Saying that people are after your money? Sir, you're a trainer.
Right. Like what gold are we digging?
I remember what you do for a living. Even if you work at Equinox and you have your own gym, I'm not saying that trainers don't make money, but sir, you were acting like you're a billionaire, a millionaire. You're
right.
out here swinging a big stick and you just got money to blow and women are at your feet like no.
He's just salty because those women don't actually want him and they won't get with him.
Like, I just thought he's rude, he's disrespectful, he doesn't respect women, and that's easily shown in his character, how he talks about women. So like when he started talking about her, I was just like, are we serious right now?
Yeah.
Like he's unprompted problematic. How are you
unprompted?
Unpromptedly problematic.
Like he got in the car and kept going. Like he kept hurling insults at her. Like, to who? For what? Like he just has it ready.
Yeah, I was just like, scary. This is scary because like you were literally a completely different person in front, like not a completely different, because that's not true. But like
he kept it together more so in front of her.
You kept it together in a way in which was frightening.
Yeah.
Frightening, because like if she kept you would have revealed yourself in the worst of ways.
Mm-hmm.
You feel like someone who would have had like a blow up or like a moment where it's just like, you know what, I don't want you. Like he's a diva. He's a diva. Like I just don't.
And what was funny to me, the moment that actually made me laugh out loud was when she did dismiss him and he looked blindsided. Like he looked so taken aback when she was like, I have to walk you out. He was like, me? Like, I really don't think anything clicked for him. How I think the way he's experiencing the world, I don't think he realizes how he's coming across. Or maybe he just doesn't care. I don't know.
Or when he was just like, am I allowed to speak? Like, sir, you've been speaking without being allowed to speak.
That was so condescending. Like, that was just so, like, that was so rude. So rude.
I was just like, so, but you've been speaking, right? Like, he was just like, he literally, in the nicest way possible, said, shut up so I can get my turn in. Like, he was like, am I allowed to tell you what I said? Like, sir, you had every moment to tell you what it said, but you just denied that you said that.
Right.
Like what did you say?
Right.
Did you not say he was like, I think there's a difference between immaturity and saying you have insecurities.
Why are you saying either? Like, why are you speaking on either?
Like, even if, like, some people don't even know how to play the game. And that's the thing, you know, like,
yeah.
It seems like he's also in a very privileged position that he feels like he could say whatever he wants and not even like stop himself from saying like what's on his mind. Like,
yeah.
Even if I felt that way in my hearts of hearts, I'm on this show. I know what my end goal is. And maybe like he's just too privileged to understand that he doesn't even need to be saying these things.
Right.
And I'm not saying that he needed to be sinister and harboring all these feelings, but like, dang, you really like, you're not even trying to play this game. Like, you're really not trying to make it to the end at all, bro. Like you really just laid it out on the line in front of all these men who are also vying for her heart. And like you've seen other men go home based off of what they told Michelle.
Yeah.
So like why are you
I think he just thought he was above that. I think he just was like, I got a one-on-one. I've gotten all these dates or these roses up until now. Like, I
thought he was so comfortable saying that. And I was just like, you do know
very comfortable. That's something he's used to dealing with women with low self-esteem because he feels like he can just pop off and say whatever he wants and people will accept it.
Yeah, but I just think it's crazy. And I think that I really wish at that moment, like Michelle like has a lot of class but at that moment he said, I did not say that. I really wanted her to walk him into the room and say, excuse me, men. What did he say to you guys?
Yeah.
Everyone was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Except the person who was in that one-on-one time with her. Everyone was there.
Right.
So it's either speak up or hold your peace and be a truthful man for Michelle, or let him lie on her name.
Yeah.
And at that moment, she would have saw who was truthful, who was not, who was willing, because Rick was sitting up there listening to the whole thing because he was talking directly to him. I was just like,
Rick was really trying to get the tea at that moment. He was really like analyzing the body language, trying to break his whole deck to see what they were talking about.
I know. And like Olu was sipping his wine and I was like, Olu, you might as well just make a fight out of this right now. Because you know you're not gonna make it to the final four.
Yeah, yeah.
You go out fighting.
I think that's why he did it. I think he just sat down and he was like, I don't need to use my time to talk about whatever because it's not gonna make a difference. So let me just tell you what's going on.
I just really wanted to see Olu go out fighting.
Yeah.
Like if they made a scene in the thing, she would have had to address it with both of them right there.
Classic 2-on-1. We didn't get that this season.
We didn't get that this season.
Yeah.
And I think that would have been good.
Yeah.
I think that would have been good because like Olu is a very truthful individual. I think that like I'm not gonna say that Olu would have wasted his time talking about him, but like at this point, Olu knew like he didn't know he wasn't gonna go to hometowns, but he also never got a one-on-one with her.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was his chances were a lot lower than everyone else's.
Mm-hmm.
So I want him to go out swinging, drag the men out that shouldn't be here.
Yeah,
drag the men out that shouldn't be here. And he should have took Martin to the trash a long time ago.
yeah, yeah.
Like
yeah,
I was just,
he shouldn't have gotten past last week. Like what he was saying about the Miami girls, that should have been enough for Michelle to just not give him a rose.
Yeah, I feel like production called this rose.
Yeah, definitely.
There's no way that like he was getting to hometowns. but I definitely feel like this was definitely a production edit for him to get a rose.
Yeah.
Because like, they just sometimes want unnecessary drama. Wow, and like I think that he was unnecessary drama.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on to the last one-on-one of the episode, we have Brandon. They go to an ice cream truck in a parking lot, and then they go visit her.
You just said this is a low budget date to me. You just said this is a low budget date without saying it's a low budget date.
I'm simply describing what they did. And then they go visit their childhood house or her childhood house. He gets a tour. He sees the senior pictures, the bedroom, borrows her dad's swim trunks, which I don't think that needed to happen. And then they get into the pool. The parents come home and they chit chat with Brandon. He ends up asking for their blessing. So what did you think of the day portion of their date?
I thought it was cute. Brandon is definitely head over heels for Michelle. That is obvious. It's obvious that he like loves her. It's obvious that he is in love with her. That like he's in this for the right reasons. It's obvious.
Yeah.
I feel like he's a little young.
How old is he?
He's not that young, but I feel like he just gives me
young energy,
young and infatuated with Michelle.
Yeah.
In a way that's just like, I don't know if I like it. And they were touring around her house. They went to the bedroom. I don't think that I would have put on her dad's swim trunks.
That was weird. I was just kind of, that to me was more of a producer question though, because you could have told him, hey, pack some swim trunks. Like that was just weird to me.
Because she had a whole swimsuit on.
Right.
And she didn't say she was getting a swimsuit from her childhood bedroom. Like, we don't know how long it's been since she's been there. So I'm confused how she had a whole swimsuit and then he had to borrow the trunks.
Yeah.
Also, her parents were very calm when they saw them in the house together. And I was just like, not my Black parents.
I know. Like,
and they hugged
it. Like, oh, hey, what's going on? No. Yeah.
This man too, in a way, and I was like,
I know. I was actually watching it last night with my boyfriend. And I was like, you've never even seen my childhood bedroom. Because I would never eat, like, he's been to my house, but I would never in front of my parents be like, let's go to my bedroom alone and like close the door. Like, I'm not even gonna broach that question. Like, that's just, I was like, you can see it when we get married. That's when you'll see my bedroom.
Also, like, my parents have no locks on any of the doors in our bedrooms. I'm in my childhood bedroom right now, and there are no locks on our doors because, like, why do we need to lock a door in a house that we don't know? Woo! Love a Black parent. But I was just like, this is getting weird. He knew it was weird too.
Yeah.
In their house doing without their parents there. And I was like, were her parents supposed to come home? Like, was that like a part of the episode?
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
Obviously, but it was also annoying to me. Like,
yeah, it was very just like, oh, this is a surprise. But it's like, you're surprisingly just walking into your own house with a mic and a camera crew. Like,
yeah, I'm
let's
like,
relax.
And he said that he was nervous too when he initially pulled up to her parents' house. And he's like, oh my God, like, you're gonna have to carry me because like I'm gonna meet your parents. And she's like, no. And it's like, Michelle, are we lying now? Like, are we lying now? Because your parents just happened to come home and he still had to meet them. And I truthfully would be upset. Like, he was a good trooper, but I truthfully would be upset if the first time I was meeting someone's parents, I was like in a bikini or half. Like, I would be upset.
Yeah, I feel like they didn't set me up to put my best foot forward and present myself how I would want to be presented to them.
Yeah, but I think that she also knows her family, and her family is not the type of family that like we come from. So,
yeah,
like, that even if like they did see him, it wouldn't be that big of a deal for that to be their first meeting, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
Got dressed and they started talking like everything was normal.
Yeah, I mean, they rolled with it. It was still cringy to watch, but yeah, it's, it's whatever they want it to be.
I don't think they have that much chemistry.
You don't think so?
No, I think their chemistry is forced. I think they have a great friendship, but the way in which like she looked at him versus like when she was talking to her parents, while she was looking like juxtaposed to how she was looking at Nayte when
Yep.
with her friend,
I was thinking that same thing.
I was like, it's not the same type of look.
No, Nayte was hard eyes, straight hard eyes, looking at him like when he was talking.
It was just like, I really want you to meet my friend. Like I love this man, but I can't say I love this man because like,
yeah.
But like I am so like head over heels for this man versus like with Brandon, I'm like, she likes him. That's obvious, but like it's a friendship type of like.
Yeah. Like she was just kind of chilling with Brandon when they were meeting the parents. She was just kind of like, yeah, here we are, cute, whatever. But it wasn't, like you said, like the way she was intently taking in Nayte's presence while he was like meeting the friends.
And like when she was with Nayte, I feel like she was a little bit more shy. Like she wasn't like shy and like a.
Yeah, she let him do all the talking. Like the friends would ask both of them questions, and she always like deferred to Nayte because she wanted to hear his answers.
Yeah, it was very much so like, I'm gonna let him lead.
Yeah.
It's like when she was with Brandon,
it was more kind of like equal, like, yeah, we're all chatting.
And I'm not saying that like Michelle wants like a man to be like that leading figure. I'm just saying that it was like very obvious that she was comfortable letting Nayte speak on the behalf of like their relationship in a way in which she spoke multiple times in this episode that she doesn't need anyone to speak for her.
Yeah.
And like, so I just thought that she felt comfortable enough to like let Nayte do a lot of the talking in the scenario that could like that built a storyline that also included her and not in the same way in which she was with her parents and Brandon.
Yeah. That's such an excellent point. Yeah. So what did you think when he asked for the blessing?
I said, you better go ahead. You better go ahead. You know, I felt multiple ways about that. Because like, I thought it was an unfair advantage.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing, because he's probably like one of the first guys to get to meet her family.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was, but like one, it showed how serious he was and committed to this process, which was nice to see. I thought it showed he was traditional, which I thought was like cute. Like I want someone to ask my family for my hand in marriage. So like, if you're out here watching this, that's a criteria.
Take notes.
But like, I thought that it was, I don't know if it was appropriate, but it fit. And I don't think it was bad. I think their response, he said that their response was great. I don't think their response was that great.
They were just kind of like, yeah, Michelle wants to marry you, we'll allow it.
They're like, we'll do whatever our baby girl wants.
Yeah. Like, they kind of like deferred to her. They're like, yeah, you know, she'll let us know.
They're like, we support our baby girl 100%. And if she wants you, then we want you.
Right.
He was like so excited about that because he was like, oh, Michelle wants, like, this is good. And I'm like, sir, you want to need to ask again and roll that back. This is not the answer that you want. You want a yes or a no.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, I allow you to, not like whatever my baby girl wants.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, he did it. I didn't have a problem with it. I thought like it was unfair for like other people who hadn't met her parents, but like, shoot your shot. And he shot it. And in that moment, he also like was able to get into their ear and show them that like what he values, that he values family, that he values their daughter, and that he's on this show for marriage.
Yeah.
And so like I thought that was important. And like this show is kind of like a game. And he played his cards right in this scenario. and it was a risky move, but he did it.
Yeah. See, this is another time where we kind of had an opposite opinion because my thing was, I think it's nice that he asked for the blessing. Like, I thought it was thoughtful. Like, I'm glad that he thought to take that action. But my thing was, I don't know if he's ever seen this show before, but the final two do meet the parents, right? So I thought it was a little rushed, but I was like, listen, if you're going to be at that place, you'll see her parents again. You know, like, I felt like he just used the opportunity. Maybe he was like caught up in the moment, or was like, this might be my only chance, whatever. But it's like, if you're really gonna be one of those final two at the end, like, you'll see them again. And I feel like that's a more appropriate time, because your relationship will have developed even more by that point. And that's a better time, I think, to ask them. So to me, I liked it, but I also felt like it wasn't necessarily the time, you know?
But that's what I'm saying. It was an opportunistic move for him.
Yeah.
To get into the parents' ear, because she talks to her parents often.
Yeah. Yeah.
For them to be like, oh, she's gonna be like, so mom, like, what did you think about the guy that you met today? And he's like, oh, I like him. Like, why do you like him? I think he's serious about you. Like,
yeah.
You know, like, things that wouldn't like say that like he's ready for marriage, or like he would marry you afterwards. Like, I don't think her parents would outright say that, because it might like skew her in one way or the other. But it would definitely be enough for her parents to give him like the check of approval.
Right.
He needs their approval.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I wasn't I wasn't as much of a fan. But like, it was cute. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so then we go into the dinner portion. They're eating at a castle. I would have liked more context as to why we were at this castle. But Brandon opens up about, like, she's like, oh, who would I be meeting? And he tells her about his family. He opens up about his late grandfather and their relationship. And then he also gives Michelle a bracelet that his mom had made for him prior to him like joining the show. And she was like, okay, if you feel like this person is the one, like, give her the bracelet. And then what'd you say?
Continue. Sorry.
Yeah, so yeah, she was like, give her the bracelet if you think she's the one, so that if and when we meet her, like, we'll know what's up, and like, we'll welcome her and accept her and everything. And then he also says that he is falling for her as well. So what were your thoughts on their dinner portion of the date?
You hated the bracelet, didn't you? I was like,
you mean hated the actual bracelet or hated the gesture?
You hated the gesture.
I didn't hate the gesture. I thought it was cute.
Okay. Because I'm like, ooh.
No, I really like Brandon. I really like him. It might not sound like it, but I really like him. So I thought it was a cute gesture.
Yeah. So I think that Brandon has opened up to her. And so I think that the conversation about the grandfather and who he would meet, I thought that was a fair storyline. I thought it was a fair thing to talk about. He said that he was just like basically his confidant. There were definitely clips that were taken out because I feel like we heard how much his grandfather meant. We didn't get that much depth into the relationship, but like we heard like a couple adjectives, and I thought that was enough to show how much he was important to him, and I understood what he was saying about like how someone he wanted to meet was no longer there. So I got that. And then they talked about this bracelet. It was cute. Like, it also showed, like, in that moment, opposite from Nayte, like, his family is fully in this process.
Yeah.
Fully involved. He has a great rapport with them to an extent in which, like, they knew he was coming on the show. They knew what the show could mean at the end. And, like, they were all for it for him.
Yeah.
It shows, it was just, like, another, like, thing about how much support he has from like family wise, similar to like how her family supports her as well.
Yeah. That was nice.
It was nice.
Yeah.
I think he's like textbook storyline good guy.
Yeah, he is.
No edge though.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a very safe choice.
He's safe.
Yeah. And one thing I picked up on, let me know if you picked up on this. And this is why I was talking about when Nayte, why I was emphasizing that Nayte said that he was falling for her. Because when Nayte said it, Michelle said, "Oh, I'm tumbling down the hill for you."
Boom, boom. But I am falling.
So I was like, okay, noted. And then Brandon over here, he says the same thing. I'm falling for you. Michelle does not reciprocate. She's receptive, but all she says is my heart is beating 1,000,000 miles a minute or whatever. Like, that's not a reciprocation in the same way that it was for Nayte. And so that kind of stuck out to me. Because like the lead, like they really can say whatever they want. Like there's no actual rules to say that you can't. Like I've seen a season of The Bachelor where he told all 4 women he was falling in love with them. Like he said, "I love you" to 4 women. So the lead can say whatever they want.
Yeah, but they're not supposed to, apparently.
What'd you say?
I don't think they're supposed to, because I think on Matt James' season, everyone was like, he wasn't supposed to say "I love you" back.
But they can. It's not encouraged, but like they can. So I'm just saying that to say there's no like limits onto how she could have responded, and she clearly didn't use limits to respond to Nayte when he expressed his feelings. So with Brandon, it wasn't she didn't keep the same energy with Brandon, essentially.
I think it's because she knows that Brandon is head over heels for her. This is a classic scenario of Brandon has laid it out all on the table. He's head over heels for her. He is the nice guy. He's the textbook nice guy who's just like likes her a lot. She knows
ready. He's available.
Ready. Nayte,
he's harder to get.
He has a little edge. And so like, even though like he's on this show, like for her, she feels like if they were out in the real world, I don't know how much Nayte would be attainable.
And I've always thought that. I've always thought, like, I love Nayte, but in the back of my head, I've always been like, would we? What?
If they were out in the real world, I don't know if Michelle would have had as much of a shot with Nayte. And like, that's not to say anything about Michelle, but I think it says more about how Nayte chooses his women. And like, in a sense that like Michelle is beautiful, she's the prize, but I don't know if Nayte would have been ready for Michelle in the way that Michelle is fully ready for Nayte. And so,
and I don't think their paths would have crossed necessarily. No. You know, like I think her real world life looks very different from what I imagine his real world life to look like. And same with the way he dates. I don't know that the way Michelle likes to date in the real world is how Nayte likes to date women in the real world. So
I think that like this relationship is like serendipitous in a way.
Yeah, it works because of like the setting.
It works because of the setting, and I think Michelle knows this.
Yeah,
and so she's like,
let me capitalize on this. Why have it here in front of me right now?
Yeah, because he's big fine, and she knows he's big fine. And she's been out in this world looking big fine herself and hasn't found him. So
right.
But she's found a lot of Brandons coming her way.
Yeah, she could have not been the Bachelorette and still have hooked up with someone like Brandon.
Yeah, even the same thing with Joe. Like she shot her shot at Joe, and he was like not really reciprocated. Yeah, and I'm like, sir, you're not as big fine. Like Michelle is above your pay grade. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Yeah. So, but I think that like Michelle views Nayte as like someone similarly attractive in terms of her attractive level, in a way in which like she doesn't view these other contestants.
Yeah. Yes. I'm glad you articulated that. That's always been in the back of my head. I never knew how to articulate that.
In the real world, like Michelle would have been fighting other girls for Nayte. Like,
oh, absolutely.
She knows it.
And Nayte knows it too. That's the thing.
Like in the real
I think that's why he can play it so cool on this season, because he knows he'll be good. Like, he doesn't win the season, okay. He'll go back home to a full inbox of DMs. Like, he's good.
He really will be good. Versus like Brandon, like he's cute, he's nice, like, but it's not the same level.
Yeah.
It's really not the same level.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
It's true.
So yeah, so then we move into the rose ceremony. Obviously, Olu, Rick go home, and then we have an all-black final four for the first time ever. I thought Rick really had a fighting chance. Like I really think that he did.
That she was gonna send, knowing that Clayton was gonna be the Bachelor, I didn't know she was gonna send him home.
Clayton, well, before the season started, I was like, dang, well, Clayton's in the final four. But then we met him and I was like, okay, there's something going on. But like before watching the season, I was like, oh dang, like she's really gonna connect with this guy.
Yeah. Or just like knowing that she was in the final four and now she's the Bachelorette. Like I was just like, oh, okay, so
yeah, I mean that's usually how it works. Yeah.
Maybe we're gonna see Clayton. And then it's like, boom, no Clayton. Like when she got down, she already gave, also how she gave the roses, I was like, sis, we could have made the viewers watching a little bit more like nervous. I was like, you gonna give Nayte this rose on this thing? I'm like, but I also had to think about it. I was like, if she gave it to Joe, people would have been like, oh, it's an unfair advantage. She already knew Joe. They're going back to hometowns. They already had a date in their hometown already. Like, da 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 da. So like, she couldn't give it to Joe. Then it's like, okay, she gave it to Nayte, and it's like, well, Nayte was obvious. Da 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 da. Then I'm like, I get, like, she couldn't have given it to Rodney. Like, that would have been so weird.
Poor Rodney.
Yeah, because I think that like after they stepped into the ceremony, and I think it threw everyone off that Brandon got a rose, because everyone knew Nayte was gonna get a rose.
You think so? I think Brandon will be final three. Because we're down to Rodney. It's essentially Brandon and Rodney competing for final three and final four, and then Nayte and Joe. So yeah. I think Brandon is going to be final three. So I wasn't surprised that he got a rose.
Yeah, Nayte and Joe are going to be final two.
Yeah,
but like that's obvious to me. Or maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. But like, the relationship she's saying, the friendship she's having with Brandon, I feel like she has a funner is not even a word. Let me correct myself for you.
Thank you.
Ooh, got me. She has a better relationship. Like shares more laughs with Rodney. Like I feel like her and Rodney have a greater friendship than her and Brandon. I feel like Brandon is literally like every chance he get, he's caressing her, he's kissing her, he's like on top of her, and like Rodney.
But I feel like she also is deeper with Brandon. Like, yeah, he's more of like the like I'm so available for you, but I feel like he's also opened up to her, which is really important to her. Rodney is just kind of like, here I am, you know?
Yeah, but I think that also like she's done friendship things for both of them. Like the blindfold with like Rodney and the apples and like that whole scene. I was like, wow, this is so cute. And he still couldn't get a Granny Smith. Like I was like, but and then she had the birthday cake for Brandon, and she did the Swedish fish.
Yeah.
I think that's when Brandon told her that he was falling for her at the Swedish fish episode.
Did he tell her that? I know he told the cameras that. I don't remember him telling her that.
Oh, I don't know. But I think they have a similar friendship. I just think she has more laughs with Rodney. I have more laughs with Rodney.
All right, there we go.
My bias is showing. Yeah, I just think, I don't know. Brandon is bland to me.
Not bland. I like Brandon. I don't think he's bland.
He's bland.
Oh.
He's bland.
I think if anyone's bland, it's probably Joe. Because Brandon has a personality.
Joe is mysterious.
Is like, that's not fun. I don't want the person I'm dating to be a mystery.
I feel like we just learn new things about Joe every week.
Yeah.
Like, he grew up on a farm. He milked cows before. Like, I feel like Joe is just like a new chapter in a mystery book. Like, every time we talk to Joe, we learn something else. Like,
yeah, that's because he doesn't talk. He doesn't speak very much.
Yeah, but when he's spoken to, he shares a lot.
So we're Team Joe and Team Rodney out here. I'm catching on.
I'm not Team Joe. I mean, like, I was weird when Joe came on the show, but like, that's
yeah.
Like, sir.
Yeah, that threw me off. But I kind of was like, well, if she's giving him a rose on like the first episode, she's moving on, so I need to move on. But it definitely was weird to me.
If Michelle was my friend, I would be like,
yeah,
he had his chance.
Like, he can ghost you on a whole DM and then actively sign up for your season of the bat. Like, it's weird.
Yeah, I just didn't even like how he entered. He was like, "Do I know you?" And he was like, "Yeah."
That was weird.
I was like, "Are you gonna tell her how he like?" So you're gonna get back here and not walk away?
Like, he came in with no game plan. Like, he really thought he was just gonna skate through it. Like, he didn't take the time to actively think like, oh, I'm going on to the show, the person who I ghosted, let me come up with something of how to approach her.
Yeah, like, she's not gonna remember me.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Sir.
Yeah. So that was weird.
I have feelings about Joe. Like, but I feel like they also have so many life similarities that, like, it's hard for her not to see him as a possibility. Because she doesn't
I mean, I like Joe. But I feel like if I had to, like I said, I think Brandon's going to be final 3. But for me, it would be, my final 2 would be Nayte and Brandon.
Yikes.
Joe would not make the cut. I would switch out Joe for Olu.
Interesting. Joe for Olu.
Yeah.
I mean, Olu was cool to me.
Yeah.
So, but for me, the fact that Joe made it this far, I'm like, we need to give him a chance.
No, I know. I mean, yeah. But I'm just saying, for me personally,
if Joe was cut out the picture earlier, yeah, Olu should have been in the final 4.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, Hometowns is going to be really revealing. I want to see what these families say about their sons.
I want to see whose dad is saying my son is not ready for an engagement.
If it's Nayte's dad, then like I'm gonna have a problem.
I feel like I kind of thought it was Joe's dad. I feel like he looks like Joe.
I don't know.
I was trying to see who looks like who.
We need to freeze frame it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I thought it was so weird. I'm like, some parents are like, maybe they're not trying to sabotage her. Maybe they just be like, you're a good woman, but my son is not ready for you. And I'm like,
yeah. I mean, that's real. I'd rather hear that.
I'd rather hear that, but that sucks.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe Nayte's dad won't even come.
True. Yeah, that could happen.
It'd just be like his mom. Did he have siblings? Do we even know that?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah. Well.
Did you have any other thoughts on anything we didn't touch on today?
Anything we didn't touch on? No, I didn't see Rick in the final 4. Clayton, we know he's going to be the Bachelor, but like his little line about loving myself first, he really needs to take the time to love himself first before he starts dealing with women who are truly after him. And I think women are a little bit better at being manipulative than men are. In this show game thing. I'm not saying that in life that's the case. I just think that like they're more like,
they know how to play the game better.
They know how to play the game better. Like, I don't think I've seen episodes in which women would have been as outwardly rude to the man as these men have been testing Michelle's patience day in and day out.
Yeah,
like,
that's real.
Like, I haven't seen the level of just like blatant disrespect and disregard for like their personhood, like people lying and like causing drama off of like personal opinions.
Yeah.
To tear her down. Like, I have not seen like drama occurs in The Bachelor because like people are being catty.
Yeah. It's not as tacky and it's not usually pointed at the lead.
Exactly. So I feel like they play the game a little bit better. And because the women play the game a little bit better, I think he's gonna have a harder time deciphering who's there.
Well, that'll be better for me as a viewer to have more drama. So hopefully that's one thing I get out of his season.
Yeah. I don't know what Olu's gonna do. Do people have to just go back to their regular lives? What's Olu's DMs looking like?
I mean, he's definitely set up to be an influencer if he wants to be. Like, I think he made it far enough. He can be on Paradise. I hope he's on Paradise.
Yeah, people really be finding love on Paradise.
Yeah, they do. So I can see that for him.
Yeah, I was looking at Serena's Instagram recently. I saw she got a little man. And oh, people out here finding love.
Yeah. So I hope Olu's on Paradise. I'd be happy for him there.
Yeah. But who knows? Because I feel like some of these women are on these seasons, they're not ready for love either.
That's very true.
Like, I don't understand how old girl Kit was on Matt's show and then she realized halfway through the ending.
So funny because they both didn't care. She was like, I gotta leave. And he's like, okay, bye. Like, they both did not care about that relationship.
I'm like, how did you make it this far and then realize, this is not for me? Also, girl, you were 21. Like, she was like the young 21. That's the minimum age on the application. You barely made the cut.
You skated on by. That's so funny. Yeah.
So I don't know. These relationships are interesting. I really just hope Michelle finds love and that the person that she's with wants to marry her, because I will be heartbroken if like she gets to the final stages and she doesn't get a ring.
Yeah.
And like also being like,
but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. I mean, I want her to get proposed to, of course, but that won't truly be where I'm like, okay, we're done. Like, I want the relationship obviously to last. Like, you can propose, but like Zach and Tayshia just broke up this week. So
yeah, and I think that like also like this pairing is important because like it'll be like the first time like a Black woman gets with a Black man.
Yeah.
And so like all eyes are on
it's this. A very big decision.
It's a very big decision because, as you said, there are only Black people in the final four.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what their parent makeup is. They're still Black.
Right. Yeah.
And there are only Black people in the final four. And so she's going to choose a Black man.
Yeah.
And she has defined herself as a Black woman.
Right.
And what does that mean for like two Black people to come together on a show like this and not stay together?
Right. It's a lot riding on it. So she has to be very intentional because it's like, I feel like producers are also looking at this to be like, okay, what is the success rate if we're allowing this type of couple to have this type of platform?
Which sucks because it's like the lights on them for like, they have to represent the whole race. And I'm like, this shouldn't be the case. Like Black people should be able to find love on a game show, on a TV show, and be with another Black person if that's the person for them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we don't see that.
Right.
And if this relationship doesn't work, then it's going to be like, should we even have more?
Should we allow them? Yeah. And it's another signal for the viewers as well to be like, is this a relationship the viewers want to be or should be able to be invested into? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's also just like to Black contestants, like if there's a Black lead, should I even apply?
Right. Yeah.
Like, what are my chances of making it to the final four?
Yeah.
What are my chances of being
which in previous seasons has not been very high. In Tayshia's and Rachel's seasons was not very high. I mean, Matt's season, it was 3 out of 4 Black women.
Well, his season, they sprinkled the whole world onto his season, and he still chose the blandest woman. So
yeah. But just surface level looking at the dynamics of the final four. You had if you were a Black woman, you had a higher likelihood.
Beautiful women. I was like, I said they brought the spectrum out.
Yeah. Yes.
Still chose race. I hate to say
that's a whole other conversation. But the Black women, they had a chance. They had a chance on his season.
They had to have a chance. There was a lot of them. The odds were in their favor.
Yeah.
We had a lot of Black men that were on this show too, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
The odds were in their favor.
But I mean, that happened. I feel like on Tayshia's season. Did you watch Tayshia's season?
I saw bits. My mom was watching it.
Yeah, Tayshia's season I feel like was more not as varied as Matt's, but it was more like half and half, I would say. It wasn't as skewed Black as Michelle's.
But I don't think Tayshia leaned into her Blackness as much as
Michelle. Definitely not. Yeah.
I'm not saying Michelle didn't lean into her Black. Michelle was standing 10 toes down in her Blackness. No, I don't think that we were gonna see a Black man in Tayshia's episode but I was fully expecting to see the Black man for Michelle.
Yeah.
So.
And here we are. Like, Michelle, you need to find some love. Whew. Yeah.
I hope her parents are a little bit more discerning. I need her daddy to speak up.
Yeah.
Pops. You be protective for your wife.
They might have been a little thrown off guard too, just with the whole Brandon scenario. Like
he said, those shorts look familiar. Sir, I needed you to say, take those shorts off. Take my shorts off. Show him whose house this is.
Yeah, that was still weird. That still doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The date was weird. Also on this season, I feel like she hasn't had any like spectacular dates. There hasn't been anything like.
I'm honestly bored of the dates. I feel like there's nothing like. Can we go like scuba diving? Like, can we go do something interesting and exciting? Bungee jumping.
I'm not saying that they're low budget dates because that's what you said when they went to the ice cream stuff. But I'm just not seeing the same level of money invested in these dates as we've seen before. Like when on Matt's episode, when Katie came home with a whole new wardrobe, I said, Rachel, when Rachel came home with a whole new wardrobe, I said, how much did this cost? I said, she got some shoe. I said, she got $1,000 shoe. What was it? I said, she got a couple dresses. Said, yeah. Meanwhile, the most a guy has taken home on this episode is that Top Gun jacket that was thrown into the water. So,
and that in itself was an advertisement. That was an ad for the movie. So I wasn't even like interested. Same with the BMW date. They said we're on the BMW racetrack about 50 times.
Yeah, so I haven't seen like the rock climbing. I was like, okay. Like,
I mean, that's a free date as well. That's not an investment.
I just haven't seen like as much money put into these dates. Like them renting out the museum probably cost a lot.
Yeah, I mean, and that was cute.
Yeah, it was cute. I don't know. I'm not trying to count the coins. I'm just saying I haven't seen anything extravagant yet.
Yeah.
You know? And
we probably won't get it, honestly, because the hometown dates are always more low budget because you're just touring around the city.
Yeah. Also, I think it's going to be weird that for Joe, they're going back. Like, what?
It's very same. It's like, okay, you had your first one-on-one in Minnesota, hometown of Minnesota. Probably going to meet Michelle's parents in Minnesota. Like,
And I'm just like, so like maybe it'll be cute because she sees another side of Minnesota that she hasn't seen before. Like another side,
Maybe.
but like it's going to be it's
He'll be
giving.
like, here's the mall that I went to that you also probably went to with your friends.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting. So
Yeah. Well, Dara, thank you so much for joining me.
thank you for allowing me to be here.
Yes. Let the people know where they can find you after this.
Where they can find me after this. Oh, we're gonna follow me on IG. Okay. My Instagram is uncensored justice. Uncensored spelled the way it needs to be spelled, and underscore, one underscore, then justice. So yeah, you can find me on IG. That's about it. That's my only social media platform. And you can find me, you can look me up, you can slide into my DMs, we can talk.
All right.
I'm correct though.
All right. Well, thanks so much.
Okay, bye.